Hi, I'm Dr. Deva Khalsa, and I've been a holistic veterinarian for over 30 years. Many years ago, I lectured at the International Veterinary Conference for Homeopathy for Veterinarians at Oxford. I'm a fellow of the British Institute of Homeopathy and a professor at the British Institute of Homeopathy. I'm an international lecturer, and I've written the best-selling book, Dr. Khalsa's Natural Dog. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is homeopathy. Homeopathy is inexpensive and easy to use, but a lot of people get worried about using it. They think, do I know what I'm doing? How can I understand it? Well, I hope in this video part 1 and in the video part 2, you'll have a better understanding of homeopathy and you'll know how to use it to keep your dogs and your cats healthier. When you use homeopathic remedies to treat your dogs and cats, you're getting a wiser and stronger dog body or cat body as a result, because that's how homeopathy works. It makes a more able body and able immune system. You see, conventional medicines work to treat the symptom by suppressing them, like taking steroids for itching. If the reason for the itching isn't handled, you have to keep taking steroids. Pharmaceutical companies aren't really into cures because there's no profit in cures. If you don't refill your meds for high blood pressure or high cholesterol every month, they just don't make any money. Homeopathy can cure, and it always creates a healthier set of body systems. Homeopathy is fun to use, and the fact that it works so very well with so many medical problems makes it all the more rewarding. Most of the commonly used remedies are inexpensive and easy to find. They can be found at most health food markets, some human pharmacies, online at a multitude of sites, and even at Kmart. I suggest you compile a list of common remedies to have ready and waiting when minor emergencies occur, because there's often not the time to run to the store, and invariably stuff always happens late at night or on a major holiday. Homeopathy is more than 200 years old and widely used around the world. The physician to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth is a homeopath. In England, homeopathy is protected by an act of parliament. In the United States, all homeopathic remedies are FDA approved, and the homeopathic materia medica is an act of Congress. I'm privileged, as I said before, to be a fellow and professor at the British Institute of Homeopathy, and I've also been awarded a Winston Churchill Medal in the field of homeopathy. So of course, I know a lot about homeopathy, and I use it often, but you don't need that kind of education, the kind of education I've had to use many of the common remedies at home with great success. Homeopathy has particular rules associated with using it, and this can be confusing and put off prospective pet peoples. In this article, I want to get rid of any confusion so you can get started and see how well homeopathy can work for you at home. Well, the first thing to do is to assemble a homeopathic kit to have at home, and then buy a book or two about homeopathy. An old friend of mine, he died at the age of 101 about 20 years ago, George MacLeod, was a wonderful veterinary homeopath in England, and his books are easy and very helpful. Just look up George MacLeod on Amazon. I'm also going to provide you with a chart so you'll know the remedies to have on hand which are uncommonly effective for addressing some very common problems. Homeopathic remedies list in the thousands and are made from anything and everything, but you only need to learn about a few remedies and learn some of the rules of homeopathy and have about a dozen remedies and you'll be off and running. I'm going to go over some simple rules in homeopathy. Homeopathic remedies need to melt on the gums, so they should not be hidden in a treat or food. Our dogs have a built-in pouch on the side of their mouths, and the remedies can go right in there. I'll tell you more about cats later, because they're easy too. Remedies come in tiny white pellet or liquid form, and either form can be placed into your dog's lip pouch. Cats do well with liquid remedies, and you can make liquid remedies from the pellets by putting 4 or 5 pellets in a small clean dropper bottle and then adding spring water or distilled water and shaking. If the pellets don't totally dissolve, don't worry. The remedy coats the pellets and it will dissolve into the water from the pellet surface. You don't even really have to pry open your cat's mouth. Just tip his or her head to the side and put a few drops right on the lip. The drops will lick right into your cat's gums. That makes it really easy to give homeopathic remedies to cats. The next thing is, it's not important if you give 1 drop of the remedy or 5, or 1 homeopathic pellet or 5, because homeopathy is an energy medicine. 1 tiny white pellet could treat an elephant, and you could give 10 pellets to a mouse. That's a hard one to digest, if you'll excuse my pun, but people are always worried about how much to give and how often to give a homeopathic remedy. The amount you give is really no big deal, and you continue giving it until things improve. If it's not working, you stop giving the remedy. We're all just too used to giving antibiotics that have to be calculated to the weight of the dog or the cat and have a certain time they need to be given. This is simply not the case with homeopathy. The next thing to know is that because homeopathy is an energy medicine, the medicine should not be stored next to heavy electromagnetic appliances such as televisions and computers, or left in the bright hot sun for a long time. The question people ask often is, do the numbers after the name of the remedy make a big difference? This brings us to another baffling aspect of homeopathy. The original physical substance is sequentially diluted, and this is why you have the funny numbers after the name of the remedy. Arnica 6x does not mean that you have to give it 6 times. It means that it's been diluted 6 times. To confound you even more, the more dilute the remedy is, the more powerful it is. So very highly diluted remedies are only available to doctors. The potencies most commonly available to you at the health food store are 6x and 30x, and that means they've been diluted 1 to 10, either 6 or 30 times, and 6C and 30C, which means they've been diluted 1 to 100, either 6 or 30 times. You can just pick one of the potencies available at the health food store and go with that one. Choosing one of the potencies that's easily available to you is just fine to use. Now, another question folks ask is, what are the remedies good for? Well, here's a trick. The bottle may say something different than what you want to use it for. How can I explain that? Well, one remedy can be good for quite a number of different and unrelated ailments. The FDA requires that only one of the medical problems that a remedy is good for must be placed on the bottle. So you're going to see something written on the bottle. Yet a single remedy may be good for a multitude of problems. As an example, the remedy Bryonia that's made from wild hops is good for pneumonia, stiffness, or arthritis that's better after resting, influenza, fever, joints that have fluid in them, among other things. But the label in the store may simply say influenza, and you want to buy it for your dog's arthritis. Not to worry, it'll be good for your dog's arthritis too. Every remedy has lots of different medical problems it's good for. In part 2 of this series, we're going to talk about how to create a handy, inexpensive, at-home homeopathic kit and how to pick a remedy so you can start to use homeopathy at home. I look forward to seeing you in part 2.